the next 2 weeks. The banks want a response to their counteroffer and they want it quickly. Denials are rare. We hardly ever see them. It's generally due to a lack of a hardship, or because the seller is not delinquent, or because your offer price is just way too far below the BPO that it's not even worth the bank's effort to do a counteroffer. Extensions are not guaranteed. We have seen foreclosure happen in the process of trying to get an extension. Why? Because either the BPO expires or the investor says foreclose. Again, it's based on those two things. But extensions also cause an increase to per diem, to late fees, to taxes, and to the loan balance. What does that do to the lender's net? Decreases it. So what do some lenders do? I'll give you an extension, but you'll pay the price because I'm going to start cutting some fees. There are actual lenders out there that will charge a fee for an extension. What do they make the buyer pay? What? $2,000? They make the buyer pay, but they'll make the buyer pay like $2,000 to get an extension. So they're hard to come by, which is all the more reason to use the Walker-Jackson program to be ready to settle when you get that short sale approval. So close on time. Talked about this. So winding down, let's talk about foreclosure and bankruptcy. We will not work with sellers that are in the midst of bankruptcy proceedings if their liens are included in the bankruptcy. If it's been discharged or if it's not included in the bankruptcy, we absolutely will work with those sellers. Foreclosure. Postponement is not guaranteed. We will request postponement through the short sale department like I talked about. And banks will absolutely always, if they can, postpone a foreclosure. If they can, because it's in their best interest to do a short sale. Because it's obviously less loss severity, and again, there's that STAR scorecard that Fannie and Freddie came out with. They're going to publicly rate the servicers. And right now, I can tell you, Bank of America and Wells and Chase just publicly got their hands slapped and lost $24 million a month. So that rating means something. So foreclosure versus short sale. Have you ever had a seller say to you, I'll just walk away? Okay, well that's not a good move, and let me tell you why. A short sale has less impact on a seller's credit, obviously. In a short sale, the GSEs say that after a short sale is completed, the seller can go purchase another property, if they have the means to do so, in 2 years. In a foreclosure, it's currently 5 years to go purchase another property. There's less emotional impact when you've done a short sale, and obviously, less impact on the neighborhood, and deficiencies in foreclosures are much greater than deficiencies in short sales. And I will tell you this, when the sellers don't like the deficiency language in a short sale approval, we say to them, if you think the bank gave you deficiency language in a short sale and won't do that in foreclosure, you're crazy. So let's review a deficiency example in a foreclosure versus a short sale. So let's say we have a loan balance of $200,000. Sales price is $150,000 and the fee is on the hood are $13,500. Obviously there's a $50,000 loss to the bank. There's $13,500 worth of fees that they paid. Their loss severity is $63,500. Now let's look at a foreclosure with a loan balance of $200,000. As I said, typically short sales sell at 9% below value and REOs sell at 35% minimum below value. So that same sales price in a short sale, once it goes to REO, becomes about $108,000 sales price to the bank. The fees are much higher because the bank is paying legal fees, they are maintaining the property, they are paying the taxes, so your fees are higher, $22,000. So the loss severity on the same property is $114,000. So, Mr. Seller, I understand you don't like deficiency language and you're afraid at some point that the bank is going to want to see part of that $63,500 in a short sale. But if you don't close on the short sale, the bank's going to come after you for part of $114,000. So a deficiency in a foreclosure is much greater than a deficiency in a short sale. So let's recap. 2 pages left and then we'll open it up for questions. What have we learned here? The components of a successful short sale, you have to have a valid hardship, okay, and obviously negative equity position. An accepted offer should be at or just below fair market value. It is not a fire sale, so don't accept low offers. The offer price and the BPO must be similar in order to get this thing to the closing table. The seller must be committed and cooperative and give us docs when we ask for them, and that's all sellers on the note. The seller must have realistic expectations regarding the fact that they may be asked for a contribution, there may be deficiency language, there may be a promissory note, and they may have to pay for their own personal fees such as homeowners fees, okay? The buyer has to remain engaged, so they have to have realistic expectations regarding the concessions and the time frame it's going to take to hang in there to get to the closing table. The lender has to net 85 to 90% of the BPO price, and the buyer must be ready to settle within the specified time frame. Those are the components of a successful short sale. So what can you do as agents to improve your chances of getting the first buyer to the closing table and not working through 3 contracts? because that's a lot of extra marketing dollars for you, and you're postponing earning your commissions. Don't accept low offers. Make sure that the contract has acceptable provisions. Remember, your seller controls the contract that they accept. The seller still owns the house, okay? Give us a detailed CMA and meet the BPO agent at the property and communicate. We give the status to the listing agent. Your buyer and your buyer's agent does not have access to the portal notes for confidentiality reasons, obviously. But you need to pick up that phone once a week when you see our status, and you need to talk to the buyer's agent. Or you can cut and paste the portal notes if you wish and send it to the buyer's agent. But you need to communicate to the buyer's agent to keep that buyer engaged. You need to set realistic expectations. You need to talk to the buyer's agent about the Walker-Jackson program. You need to set realistic expectations for your own seller, and communicate with us if you're contacted by the lender. So I want to thank you very, very much. I know I did a lot of talking. I'm going to open up to questions now. This is our phone number. You'll see Stacy and Kim. Trish Tondo is our office manager. She is fantastic, because when Kim and I go on the road, and we're on the road a lot, okay, we're on the road tomorrow and then 3 days next week, you can always call Trish, ask questions. If you have questions about things, you know, in process, those are your 3 point people for general questions, and that's the phone number where we can be reached. So I'm done. I'm going to open the floor for questions. Yes. Thank you.
I have one that did not do the waterfall, which I wish they would have for the half. In fact, we requested a half a short sale, and they refused to do it, but didn't tell us that I didn't request it. When I told them, yeah, I faxed it on January 24th, they said we need to get those 80 pages that I have
Right.
I sent. And then I said, well, you're talking to me. The authorization was in there. And they said, oh, we got that one page. This is Wells Fargo. You know, I just closed a half a short sale with Wells Fargo 2 weeks ago. Why would they not